Everyone. It's very hard to deny that most of like entertainment or media, such as like film, shows, games, they mainly come from the US. To the point that just feels commonplace. Like if a piece of media comes from like any other country, it feels like a huge celebration or just something very unique. Like I remember hearing about how The Witcher was made in Poland and how even like the president, like Obama, gave an award to the developer because of the game, being good, and also because that's a pretty big achievement to have a game of that quality in Poland, where the gaming industry probably isn't that healthy and massive. But apart from games, I'd say another common like entertainment event that's very common in the US, although having like a couple of events, like a handful in other countries apart from there, would be like fighting or wrestling ones. And it makes sense, because if you hold like the same kind of event in the same country all the time, you will slowly have like loose fans that will visit it, because what's the point if they've already been to like a couple of ones before and the events are like somewhat similar. So it is a good idea in general to like host in other countries to at least have some fans to visit it, make it feel like a unique visit. But it is easy to forget like how many issues come from like hosting an event in whatever country, or like just considering like what stadium or arena they're gonna do it at, the finance, and like what city as well. Just like a huge bag of issues that, if not led right, could lead to the event being cancelled and then done somewhere else, like in the US. But if it is managed right, you can have it like turn out very well and have it also streamed, so people from all over the world can watch it as well, and you're not just confined from revenue of people that bought tickets to go to the event in person. But my main point being like how no matter how big of a challenge hosting an event might be with that many fans, if it is done right, it can definitely turn out great for everyone. But I have to admit, this recent or upcoming event, the UFC 304, coming in July, like later in summer, this is a good example of like a horribly planned event that sacrifices the experience of like one customer base in a country to for like another somewhere else. If you haven't heard about it, it'll be held in Manchester, like I said, in July. And the UK is a pretty popular country for most like those kinds of like UFC or boxing fights. But one huge issue that sounds very minute that just pisses off everyone, making them not want to buy tickets, is that the main card will be held locally in the UK at 3 a.m. For what event have you heard someone paying a ticket from their own money and having to turn up that early where they're most likely tired? But then you think about it, 3 a.m, that sounds horrible of course, but if you cross the Atlantic and you go to America, that'll mean it'll be 10 p.m. for them. Like legitimately the golden hour for whatever event or sports, where someone like finishes a job, they get home, and they just sit back on the couch and watch it. Well, you don't have to worry about putting an alarm and like waking up or watching the event, well, at which point it feels like way more of a hassle than anything else. I'm not complaining on why they would do this, because simply they much rather make way more money to have people pay for the event as opposed to like going to sleep, wake up the next day, and most likely having the event on YouTube free to watch. But that painful time difference really like puts like a huge upset like in scale for like one customer base, like people in the UK going to the event, paying way more money than someone else in like America, probably paying for a streaming service to watch it, where not only is it cheaper but also way much easier, where like they don't have to like drive to the stadium, park the car, and wait there for like the entire event. Very simple. They can just skip to the fight they want to see, very easy. And I didn't even consider the fighters as well. Like what a great way to the clocks, make them fight at like the point where the body's not ready, because 3 a.m, you'd be at bed at that point, as opposed to, walking in your octagon all tired, having bright lights and loud noises all surrounding you, having Joe Rogan's fat bald head staring right at you. And plus, that's not even like going into Europe as well, where like of course they're nearby, so the earliest or latest you can watch if you're somewhere in that continent might be 2 a.m. or 4 a.m, like not that big of a difference. So therefore, you simply believe like if you change the time for a fight in the UK, it won't seem like that big of a deal until you realize you're dragging the entire continent of Europe to force them to wake up at the same time just for the main card, which I will admit, I haven't seen what it is yet, but it would be comedy gold if it was like the worst matchup ever, like the one like nobody gave a shit about. So on the topic of waking up that early, like around midnight, around that time, for an event that you might be potentially excited for, that's like on par with like people camping outside for like a midnight release of a game, where you've all seen pictures of like people with chairs, tents, like beds, just to like wait for the game to come out, like so they can just buy it quickly. But then I realized I would much prefer like sitting down on a chair inside a tent for like during a calm night waiting for a game, where it's not like 100% adrenaline, but it's more so for like a game you've waited for a long time for and you're excited to buy it, as well as having the convenience factor of like camping out a store that you live nearby, compared to like if you don't live in Manchester, tough luck driving all the way there. What's only downhill from there, like, you know, booking a hotel, waking up early, driving to the arena, sitting down with people that are equally as tired as you, contrasted with like huge speakers all surrounding you. Yeah, I don't know about that. Even if you're a huge UFC fan, there's so many like horrible experiences or factors that you can see from like a mile away. It really seems like, you know, a bad choice to just buy a ticket and go to the arena compared to just like waiting the next day and just seeing the fight on YouTube. That sounds like, you know, actual heaven.